Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. It is the Ignite Show at Scale here, and I have just got a quick thing for you today. So I'm not sure if anybody's going to join me. So I've been having challenges with my bot messenger, and the bot messages that I send out they are going out, but because of all the changes that have been happening in Facebook, like the numbers of people that are in my bot are kind of dwindling. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody actually turns up and watches me live today. However, the show must go on as the show must be the show must go on, as they say. So here I am, and I have a little interesting topic for you today. So this is based on a conversation that I had earlier with someone who shall remain nameless, but we were chatting through some training that I'm going to be doing for an organisation just in the next few weeks. And we're just going through some of the detail of it, and it became apparent as we were going through it that there was a lack of clarity around what problem we were trying to address by doing the training. And it just struck me that that was something that I should share today, because the thing is, as leaders, right, as leaders, we can be a little bit guilty of, jumping in and finding solutions and being seen as the fixers, right? So we like to fix things, or at least, when I think of myself as a leader, I like to fix things and make sure that we can kind of move forward, that we remove obstacles. And certainly as a leader, that's one of your roles as a leader, is to be able to remove obstacles for people, especially for your team, so that you can set them up for success, so that they can move forward and good things can happen. But sometimes when we hit a problem, or we've got an issue, or there's a challenge in front of us, we can quickly jump to conclusions, right, about what the problem is. And therefore, I just got a little message from Sarah on my team, who I was just chatting with. So I'm not actually sure what I'm going to cover on the Ignite show today. And she's like, she used to be in the Navy, and she's saying, improvise, adapt, and overcome. We used to say in the Navy. I love that. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. And she said, just use it anytime. She says, feel free to use it anytime. So there you go, I've just used it. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, we used to say in the Navy. So as leaders, it can be easy for us to just jump to conclusions, see a problem, think that we understand what the problem is, have a solution in our back pocket, and off we go. Because in our haste, right, because usually as leaders, we've got a million things that we're trying to do. And so in our haste to, resolve that thing and get moved on and move forward, it can be really easy to just say, right, okay, I know what that is, I know how to fix it, that's the solution, implement that, off we go, job done. However, as we discovered today, and we kind of caught this early in the conversation today, but the question became, I was chatting through the training requirements, the question became, what problem are we trying to solve, right? And so there is an issue, right? So there is an issue, but it's not clear what the issue is. And so rather than have this organization commit financially to me going in and delivering some training to address what they believe the problem is, and then finding out actually that's not the problem, right? And so we've designed, training to address a problem that actually is incorrect, and so we're kind of addressing the wrong problem. That could actually just make the situation worse, right? And then you're in a you've got a bigger problem on your hands, right? Because with the best will in the world, you've been trying to resolve a situation, but then instead of resolving it, you've actually jumped in with your size 10s, made the situation worse, and then you've got to call in the cavalry and try and fix an even bigger problem. And in this particular situation, that's potentially what could have happened, because we could have gone in with a solution and kind of from the point of view of, so here's the solution, what's the problem, right? Whereas we always want to really understand and get down into what is actually going on here. Let's be really clear and clarify, what are the challenges, right? What are the challenges? And based on that, what can we do about it, right? What can we do? And therefore, what is the right solution, right? So make sure that you are being curious, right? And that you're asking the right questions, right? It's more important to ask the right questions and being deeply curious to make sure that you've surfaced what the actual problem is before you get into solutioning, right? So give yourself time and permission to dive in and to be curious about what is actually going on, what's really going on here, what's really happening. Make sure you're understanding the situation, right? And then ideally, you want to work with the people in the situation to come up with a solution together, rather than you just, steamrolling a solution onto people, right? Ramrodding a solution onto people probably, isn't usually the best. Isn't usually the best course of action. I find that if you can bring people with you, and if they can be part of creating the solution, right, they are going to be much more bought in to then implementing that solution and making things work and taking things forward, than if you are just telling them what the solution is and asking them to get on with it. So that's the thing. So that was based on, a real example today. So that conversation that I'm having just now with my client is ongoing, to be continued, right? So there's more discussion to be had before we finalize what we're going to do, right? So there is work to be had there, and we are going to do something, but we want to make sure that what we are going to do is going to meet the needs of the people that are being trained, and ultimately are going to solve the business challenge that the training's for, right? Because the business has got a challenge. We think the solution is to do some training, right? But sometimes that can be the easy option. It's like, right, okay, well, let's just do some training. That'll fix the problem. It's like, right, okay, but let's make sure that we're understanding what the requirement is. And the requirement's got to be based on what's the actual challenge, what problem. I used to work with someone that was really good at asking this question: what problem are we trying to fix, right? Because if you don't take the time to get clarity and to really understand and surface what problem you're trying to fix, and be clear what outcome you're trying to get to. So it's, understand and actually sometimes you have to start with the solution, or not solution, but the outcome. Like what's the outcome you're searching for, and what's the problem in us trying to get to that outcome, right? So we know we want to get to here, but we know there's an issue here that's stopping us from getting there. Let's really understand what is going on here before we jump to solutioning, and let's involve everyone in the solution, rather than just forcing people down a path that they may not want to go down. So that's my little story for today. As leaders, make sure, as leaders, you have a responsibility to make sure that you are understanding the problem before you jump to start creating and implementing solutions, right? So make sure that you have understood the problem, that you know what the problem is that you're trying to fix, and can you comfortably and honestly say that you've done the due diligence around that, and that you're not just taking action. I'm all about taking action. That's my big thing, is about taking action, but it has to be the right action. It's not about just any action. It's got to be the right action. So that's it for today. Hope that was helpful, and I will speak to you soon. And remember, if you do want to get a message from me to be notified when I'm about to go live, then I've put the little link in the notes for this post. Just click on that, and that gets you registered into my bot, and I will drop you a little message the next time I'm going live. So I'm live at 5 on Mondays and Thursdays with the Ignite Show, with more hot tips like that are happening in my world that I'm sharing with you that may be of use to you. So hopefully that was helpful today, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.